Well, hello everyone. This is Dr. Ayleen, and this is Medicine Walk with Dr. Ayleen. And for those of you who are hanging out on Blog Talk Radio and listening in there, welcome to Healing House Radio with Dr. Ayleen. And so it's always fun doing a simultaneous broadcast. And it's like today was one of those great days when everything started at once and there were no problems. So yay! And hey, I will take the little victories as well as the big ones. And a part of what kind of motivated me was the idea of, really thinking about what it is that moves us forward in, it doesn't have to be a big, profound, spiritual type of experience. It can be just, what moves you forward to find happiness in your life. And so I was thinking about some of the things that were barriers and, could maybe, make that forward momentum a little bit tricky. And I've had a few people come up to me and, I spend a lot of time doing counseling and working with people in being able to move forward. And some are training specifically to become a spiritual practitioner, while others are, they just kind of want to have a deeper connection with spirituality. So I was, just kind of toying a little bit with some of the ideas on, different teaching techniques and things like that. And one of the things that kept coming back as an issue was how to deal with the fact that we have those things inside of us, those little that hold us back from moving forward. And probably one of the biggest ones is holding on to old resentments. Now, I know that a lot of people have experienced a lot of things, and I have held space for people sharing some truly, really hard stuff. And if you're going through one of those hard times, or if you've been through one of those hard times, I mean, my heart goes out to you because it's just it really can be very challenging to try to move forward when you've got those things holding you back. And it could be something huge, or it could just be something very little, that one thing that maybe somebody said that hurt your feelings, that you never quite addressed with them because you didn't want to seem petty, or you didn't want to seem, whatever. And let's see, let me just check. Monica, hi. So for those of you on YouTube, there is a live chat. I'm afraid for the Blog Talk Radio, because I don't currently have a way to be able to answer the phones and to be able to do this. I'm afraid I won't be able to answer the Blog Talk Radio questions live. But if you log on to YouTube and you go into live chat and you can log in. So Monica, hi, I hope everything's going well. So, as we look at those things that are kind of holding us back, those things that are keeping us from being able to move forward. Like I said, holding on to old resentments can be one of the biggest challenges. And, like I said, it could just be that one thing that you never said to that person that just kind of stuck in your craw about maybe something that they said. And, you don't want to make a thing out of it. You don't want to be considered dramatic. It's amazing how often when people speak their truth, it's like, oh, you're just being dramatic. It's like, no, this is my truth. And little things like that build up and stack up on top of each other, and it prevents us from being able to really move forward. A little bit of that digging, that holds us kind of down into a lower state than what we'd like to have. So, the big question is, what are those things in your life that maybe are holding you back? Old resentments, old fears, old angers, judgment. And it's really easy to get wrapped up in judgment because, well, I mean, there's a lot of things that we could judge in our lives. And most of the time we judge them from our own perspective. You know, wow, that was a really lousy thing to do, or that was a really lousy thing to say, where somebody else might not think it was that big of a deal, especially the person saying it. They, you know, maybe they just say, oh, well, you know, it was a joke, or, you know, don't be so serious, don't be so sensitive. And that only makes it worse. If someone were to say something hurtful to you, and you said, hey, you know, that wasn't cool, that really was hurtful to me. And if it's somebody who cares about you, someone who has that sense of maturity, what they're going to say is, oh, wow, I'm sorry. I really didn't mean to be hurtful to you. I thought it was a joke. And I apologize. And it's not about making excuses. It's not about justifying it. It's not about anything. It's just, if that person gave you a straightforward, looking you straight in the eye apology, that would never have created a resentment. It would have been dealt with, and it would have been done. And you would have moved on, and you might have even felt really good. And it's like, wow, I feel really a lot closer to this person because, you know, they acknowledged what I was feeling. They didn't try to make excuses about it. And so, you know, we were able to move forward. And I find that today you know, I mean, technology is amazing and YouTube is cool, and, you know, people can tweet things and all kinds of stuff and go on Facebook and have an open dialogue and communication with people from all over the world. And that is amazing. Unfortunately, it is also kind of the ground that a lot of very yucky sort of stuff can come in. And because so many people deal with each other through technology, I think there may be a loss of that when you're standing face to face with somebody, you know, sort of the filter that goes on. It's like, okay, I know what I'm thinking about saying, but this person is right in front of me, and it might not be a good idea for me to say it. Where technology has a tendency to take that filter away. So it's just a matter of being really aware of what's going out there. And I mean, I know sometimes folks, you know, just have to say something. They have to speak their truth. They're really frustrated about something. And it's like, you know what? Go for it. Understand that there are consequences to it. But if there's something that you just have to get off your chest, I mean, it would be really good if you could get off your chest with the person you're talking to. I remember being told a long time ago that gossip could be defined as making people who are not part of a solution part of a problem. And, you know, if you need support in something, if you're, like I said, if something's really weighing heavy on your heart, then you got to do what you got to do. And I am all for everybody doing what it is that they feel is right within themselves, whether I would agree with it or not. And that's important because we are autonomous beings. And a part of stepping up into your own power is the ability to express what you need to express in the way that you need to express it. You know, I always encourage balance. It's like, okay, I'm going to express something. Is the way I'm expressing it going to get me what I ultimately want? And usually that's clarity, acknowledgement, and, you know, maybe an apology or an explanation of something. Whatever it is you're looking for, just make sure that the way you're expressing it is what gives you what you want. But let's say, you know, something happens and resentments grow. And resentments can be like an avocado tree. An avocado, when you plant a seed, it will take usually about 12 years before an avocado appears. It has to take that time to grow. And resentments and hard feelings, they don't have a time limit. You can have something planted and years and years and years later, suddenly it sprouts. Now, if you're working on a path of, you know, trying to really find yourself, connecting with something more, working on deeper levels, meditation, yoga, energetic healing, whatever it is, you will reach a certain point in the progress of your work where it will become necessary to sacrifice some of that. to sacrifice a part of that, well, I want to be, spiritually open and be in that place of love, but I still want to reserve the right to, just resent and really be irritated at this person and not clear it up. Spirituality, however you define it, however you apply it, however you envision it, is about us becoming more. It's about us becoming that self that we want to be. Or as someone once put it, being the person that my dog thinks I am. Not so much the cat, because I'm not sure I want to know what my cat always thinks of me, but my dog, dogs, yay. And I love my cat. Cat lovers, don't get freaked out. I do love my cat, and I know she loves me. But there's something about cats that, every cat owner, if they're really honest, they'll admit it's like, yeah, they're really not sure who's in charge here. But I digress. So, in order to be able to work on being that best person, one, you have to learn to love and accept yourself, and see those resentments. Those can be directed internally. You could resent yourself for something. You could be angry at yourself for something that happened, for your response to something, for the way that you may have handled something. Maybe you feel bad about it, and yet it's hard for you to address it because you haven't resolved that you've upset yourself. So when we start looking at how can we start disengaging and surrendering to the universe those things that are holding us back, those thoughts about ourselves, about other people. And the place to start really is yourself. It's about looking at, okay, what is it that I did and I think that I did it, that I cringe? And you can talk to somebody about it, or you don't have to. But as long as you're honest with yourself, as long as you go into that place of, you know what, I'm going to look at this. I'm going to look this situation in the face, because my inability to forgive myself for it, my inability to stop being angry at myself for it, is interfering with what I want to become. So by taking a look at it, and an objective look, it's not just rehashing, what happened from the perspective of someone who wants to find criticism, and that's that inner critic. But looking at, okay, objectively, I took this action, and this was the reason I took it, and I feel bad about how the results went, but I don't know how to resolve it. Now, it may be that if involved another person, you could always go and apologize. You could explain yourself more clearly. You could say, you know what, this happened, and it's bothered me. And you may even say, it's been bothering me for a while or a few years. It's always bothered me. So I want to apologize to you for that. And more than likely, they probably don't even remember it. But, you get that clear, and you clear it within yourself. Now, if it's a situation where either you cannot or you choose not to go and stir up any potential hornet's nets anywhere, you can just look into yourself and say, wow, I made a choice. All right. I forgot to turn the phone down. I made a choice, and I am sorry that it happened that way. And, well, it's okay to forgive yourself. Even if you can't get forgiveness from somebody else, it is okay for you to forgive you for something that you feel that you did wrong. And you can apologize to the universe. You can sit down in a quiet place and just say, you know what? If I did anything that was hurtful, and I believe I did, I'm sorry. And it's amazing how that can help let go of stuff. So this first part is just talking about what's going on inside of us, what we feel, what is it that we need to get rid of in our own inner inventory for the for the the ability to move forward. And You know, if you want to have somebody witness that, you can do it as a ceremony. If you're learning about, you know, ceremonies, you can make a ceremony out of anything. Go for it and, you know, see how that feels. And then once you've reached that place where you can, you know, let go of the stuff that you did, let go of the things that bother you, things that, you know, are weighing on your heart about yourself. Once you've had a chance to weed through those, now you start with the other people. And usually at this point, that's when the, well, they started it. And it always is that kind of overriding thing for me when it's like, started it. It's like, okay, and how old are we feeling right now? How old do you feel right now? And they may say, it's like, well, I feel like I'm about 8 years old. And then we think, okay, what happened to you when you were 8 that involved somebody else starting something? And it's amazing how when we start looking at the things that were hurtful to us that other people did, and I mean, it can, like I said, it can go from, you know, something minor, an unkind word, or something that you deemed inconsiderate, to some pretty horrible, intense, terrible things. And, you know, there's a whole spectrum on that. And, you know, if you have something that's like a really big thing and a really intense thing, please get help. Please talk to somebody. Because if you, I don't care how long ago it happened. You know, when you're feeling that, or if something triggers you back into that moment, it's real. And it's like it happened yesterday. And I get it. I really do. So the idea that that's a part of taking care of you. Because even if you can never confront that person, or you choose not to, you can work through it and release the resentment. You know, that's when I go with my definition of forgiveness. Forgiveness is when I no longer give a person or an event power to make me feel or inspire in me a feeling that I don't want to feel. If I don't want to feel angry, and yet if I think of this person and or what they did or a particular event and I get angry, I'm not choosing that. That feeling is being inspired in me, and I should not give anything the power to inspire in me a feeling that I don't want to feel. So if it's something big, then, you know, you definitely want to get help. And like I said, it depends on, you know, the action and your feeling about it. You know, it may be a minor action, but if you're having a major reaction to it, then it's a major thing. So look for that, seek that out. You know, becoming spiritual, choosing to live a life that's based in spirituality and based in connection and all those wonderful things. And I totally love it. I really do. I love being able to live my life and walk my walk. Allows me to connect both with myself and with the universe and with other people and everything. And, you know, to perceive all the little things that may go unnoticed or that I never noticed before. And so it is important to me to be able to do that in a way that's authentic. And I can't be authentic if I'm in this wonderful, peaceful moment and in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about something that really irritated me that somebody did. And that takes from that beautiful, special moment. And when it does happen, I realize that I've got a choice. I can either choose to surrender and give up that feeling, even if it's something that I'm never going to get an answer to. If I can figure out that, you know what, I can be okay with this person never acknowledging what they did. I can be okay with the fact that I just have to kind of process this on my own, and I can let it go. You know, you can choose to do that, or you can choose to hold on to it. If you choose to let it go, you can move forward, not loose the anchor. If you choose to hold on to it, you're not going to move forward. So you can choose either one. You're free to choose either one, but you can't choose both. You can't choose to hold on to resentment and then say you're walking your spiritual path. And it's not a perfect science. It is not exact. It is a constant work. And that's part of what people need to understand. And what is, you know, one of the big sticking points. And it's like, well, if I become spiritual, then all those things won't bother me anymore. It's like, no, you realize that those things do not have to stand in your way, and that moves you towards spirituality. You know, it's sort of like, well, you know, I want to turn, you know, my spare room into a meditation room, but it's all full of boxes and it's all cluttered up. It's like, well, maybe I could push the boxes to the side and make a little square in the center of the floor, but it's still not going to feel right. Clearing out the room, clearing out the boxes, getting rid of stuff. Maybe some of those boxes have stuff that you could donate or that you otherwise don't need. And then you can make the space what you want it. You know, you can't go and meditate in that little square that you formed and think that that's going to clear the room around you. And I wish it was that easy, but it's not. And yet it can become this really wonderful cycle, because what it can do is it can create, you know, a little bit of letting go. Just pick one thing, pick like one small thing to go, you know what? I may never get the response I want. I may never get the resolution I'm looking for, and I can live without it. I don't have to let that give me, you know, a reason not to move forward. I can let it go and just accept that sometimes people do mean things, or people say mean things, or bad events happen, or sad things happen. And I may not understand why. I may never get a clear answer why. But I can at least say, you know what? I can chalk that up to a lesson and let it go. And by being able to do that, just pick the most insignificant thing, the thing that is almost like, well, you know, it's not really bothering me. It bothers me a little bit, but it doesn't totally bother me. Just pick one tiny thing that you can go, nah, okay, that one I can let go. And it's amazing how just by getting that one little tiny thing, and for anybody who has ever moved, and you know, it's always that crazy time where you're in the room and it's all full of packed boxes, and then it's like, okay, you know, I gotta figure is fun. So, Monica, tell you what, if you're still online, can you, okay, well, it looks like we may, are we back up? Okay, there we are. How much of that got lost or missed, and and I'll have to watch it later on. But the main idea, the main focus is that by allowing yourself to surrender some of the stuff that is really not useful to you, it's not serving you, it's not bringing you anything, it's not helping you get what you want, and you can be totally selfish and phrase it, okay, what will get me what I want? What I want is to be more at peace with myself, to be more at peace with other people, to feel a connection with the universe and with the world around me. And can I do that by holding on to things that don't serve me? Can I do that and still feel like, well, I'm going to resent this person, but it's okay because I'm justified? Someone once told me that there are no justified resentments. And frankly, I thought they were kind of, full of it. But the more I thought about it, if I think about things that I resent or people that I resent, ultimately it comes down to me going up to them and saying, hey, you got a minute, because we need to talk. One-on-one, face-to-face. They don't live near me, over the phone. And, I want to have a conversation with you about this. So you can be able to let go. And even if you can't have that conversation with someone, you can still say, I'm not happy about how this is going. And maybe we can talk. So, the idea of being able to say, well, maybe you can get an apology, maybe you can't. But the important thing is that you don't let it bury itself in you, because each little bit that you let come in is taking away from your ability to be the person you want to be. And I know that you can be the person you want to be. And I celebrate the person you want to be. I think it's wonderful, the person you want to be. And it doesn't matter to me what you want to do. But, if you want to go out there and do something good in the world, or if you've always had a dream about something, you can make it happen. And it happens so much easier and so much more smoothly if you get rid of some of the stuff that's going to keep you from it. If that's your heart's calling, go for it. And I would love to hear what it is that you want to do. And if you need help kind of figuring out what it is that's blocking you, talk to somebody or contact me. You can reach me through Twitter. You can reach me through Facebook, which is Medicine Walk with Dr. Ayleen. You can leave a comment for me. And I do read the comments, and, and I really appreciate everybody who and if there is any way that I can help, because I would like to. And so just make sure that you're willing to pay the price of surrendering in order to get what you want. Because sometimes when you gain a lot more, especially when you give up something that you don't need. And is that Terry? Oh, hey, Terry. Hi. So thank you for joining me. And like I said, decide what it is that you want. Decide what's keeping you from it. And if anything that is keeping you from it is based in resentment, see what you can do to let that go. And like I said, either you can talk to the person, you can, if it's sort of a global situation or something that's happening, you know, you're just frustrated about how something in the world is, something in politics or whatever, there are ways to be able to find balance with that too. You know what? Sometimes people do weird and hurtful things, but that's not what our species is. We can do better, and that's the exception, not the rule. And for every one person or one situation that makes you feel bad, think about all of the many, many, many people and situations that make you feel good, and put your focus on that. Move in that direction. And then you cut the tie to the anchor and you're good. You know, it's clear sailing, at least until something else irritates you. And then you process that too. But once you get into the habit of doing that, of saying, oh, wow, that's a problem. This is what my objective view of it is. This is what I need to do to get rid of it. Getting rid of it, moving on. Go. So thank you for joining me. And if you enjoyed this, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe. You know, I think it's always cool to see more people subscribing. And please comment. If there's a particular topic that you would like me to cover, then let me know. Or if you had any questions, comments, or concerns about this topic or any one of my topics, please let me know. So, everyone take care. And as always, I wish you balance and I wish you blessings from my heart to yours. Love you. Bye.